you can kind of feel the vibe of like you need to eat and get out. And sometimes people just want to chill and just like hang out.
Welcome to Cue the Mic. I'm Darren Worth.
I'm Emma Derflinger. And this is episode 45.
Without the Reverend Randy Twyford today, I'd forgot that we put off till Sunday to record, which kind of seems to be our day. And Randy's still hot and heavy at the Illinois Beef Expo. And so we've kind of, I've talked a lot. I haven't talked to Randy much this week. I talked to him a lot before, kind of different ways of, menu items, because he had no idea what to do for a breakfast burrito. He had a little idea about biscuits and gravy, and he wanted to do a small and a large. And I said, these guys can't have a biscuit. So we threw out the old Tim Shop recipe of the walking biscuits and gravy. He's the first guy that I saw do it, where you actually cube up the biscuit and you layer it with sausage gravy in a red Solo cup. So people can walk around and eat it. And if they're still hungry, they can order a burrito too, or they can do that. So he said people were loving it. The first day he didn't sell too many of them, but that was just kind of setup day. But I think sounds like he's been killing it. He sent a message saying, I'm out, I've been killing it in sales. So good for him. Hopefully he'll be so exhausted that I'm on my way back to Florida on Wednesday. I'll probably try and convince him to, maybe he needs to come to Florida next week and take the week off. We'll go compete in a little barbecue contest together or something.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good. Oh,
yeah,
God, the two of you together for an episode? That'd be chaos.
Ooh, bad.
Flashbacks to like Randy's first one. Yeah, his first one ever.
Yeah, the biggest shit show in the world.
It was. Yeah, no. So you guys are just stuck with the OGs today.
All right. Well, back to unfinished business. I asked Emma how our dress like a Big Mac sauce thing, where we talked about last time how I like to order my McDonald's, and I don't do it very much, but I like to order a double quarter pounder with cheese. I like to order it dressed like a Big Mac because I hate regular onions raw, but I like the little minced onion. I think I called them slivered on the last episode, but I like the minced onion on there so much that if you're a burger fan, side note, we're going to go tangent right away, but if you're ever cooking a smash burger on the grill, just take dehydrated onions and put about 3 times as much water. So like a tablespoon of onion and 3 tablespoons of water, set it on the counter for 15 minutes and voila, you have McDonald's onions. And so it's a great way to add, and they've got a ton of flavor that way. So we never have an onion around our house unless I know I'm doing some sort of Cajun dish that takes a Trinity or whatever. So I very rarely have an onion sitting around. So it's a great way to keep a big old jar of dehydrated onions in your cupboard that if you ever need onions, just rehydrate them yourself. And then they're small. They add a lot of flavor. So good. So anyway, we talked about how I like to order that dressed like a Big Mac. And we talked about, a chicken sandwich and a fish sandwich and how McDonald's that should be a fad. And maybe we ought to do a TikTok video on this. Maybe we ought to make this go viral.
Okay.
But dressed like a Big Mac. And so Emma put out a poll. Oh, wait. Emma forgot.
I totally dropped the ball. Totally. But I did say, leave a comment. And we did get comments. I didn't think we needed the poll. We did get comments. And a lot of people said, that's dumb.
That's
like, a lot of it was like, it was just like, you don't need to do that. That doesn't seem necessary. So I thought that was pretty funny. We had one suggestion that was just order like a Big Mac with a quarter pounder patty. And then boom, there's that. Problem solved.
The bun to meat ratio's off there.
Yeah. And then somebody literally just responded and said, I don't think a Big Mac anything option is a good idea. So there's that.
Well, not for your health. I mean, I don't get a Big Mac every week. I probably get a Big Mac every one every 6 months, right?
Plus, the
And it's
patty to bun ratio
usually,
is already off. Now that I'm
on
thinking
a
about it.
but on a double quarter pounder, it's not too bad.
Oh, but yeah, but
I'm
anything
telling.
with like a Big Mac, like the Big Mac
Yeah,
itself, is already off.
I know.
Okay.
Last time I was thinking about it, and
Gotcha.
I ordered the double Big Mac, and I really couldn't tell any difference from a Big Mac. I mean, it was double
You
meat
ordered
and
a
double
double
cheese,
big?
but yeah, you can
Oh
order
God.
now. The special is a
Oh
double
my
big.
God.
So I went to order my double quarter pounder with cheese, dress it like a Mac,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
When we didn't have a kitchen down in Florida, when we were moving and all that stuff a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
And then I pull up and they've got a double Big Mac on special. I'm like, okay, we'll just make it easy. I won't try and explain it to them about dressing like a Mac. I think this has the potential though to be like that Chipotle fajita thing,
The
like
Chipotle
the
fajitas.
the Chipotle. Sorry,
Chipotle. Yes.
I
It's
almost
okay.
ordered that last night.
I've never had a good experience with Chipotle.
I was just in the mood for I, this week. I have been a
Mhm.
rice and bean fanatic. So I made
Mhm.
Cajun red beans and rice. I did black beans and rice. I am just in the. I think I could eat that every meal right now. I think I could
I
eat
do
rice,
miss when you used to
beans,
bring those leftovers.
and a simple protein.
Mhm.
Like tonight, I'm making chicken and beef enchiladas for the family, but of course, I'm going to make Spanish rice and black
Mhm.
beans. And Sherry's like, nobody will eat the black beans. I'm like, that's fine. That means there'll be leftovers, and I'll be able to eat them.
Right.
So
No, that sounds good.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I think it does have the ability. I think it could. I think it could be like the put your Chick-fil-A nuggets and with the sauces and shake it up type thing.
Mhm.
We're always talking about these TikTok viral thing. I haven't been out there much lately, so I'm not sure what's going on out in the world of TikTok. Do you,
Mhm.
as far as food, what's the newest thing?
Mm-mm. No, you normally
Pretty
bring the
boring.
food TikToks. I
Yeah,
just
I need to get it.
mine's
I'm
not
gonna have to
very
go spend some
food
time.
heavy.
I'm gonna go have to go spend some time on TikTok today. I can tell and figure out so that I'm prepared for the next episode. I just
Product
haven't been out on
research.
TikTok. Yeah, I'm always trying to think of something different. I'm working on a couple sandwiches that we're going to roll out at the Ornery Chicken. We may have talked. Did we talk about the
Ooh.
nacho chicken sandwich before?
I don't think so. I don't know.
So
I
I
feel like
had
that's
this
something
I I had
remember.
I had this idea that I wanted to turn a chicken sandwich into a thing of nachos. And
Mhm.
so I said, "Hey, grab some. We fry our at the restaurant. We fry our own tortilla chips." I said,
Mhm.
"Grab some of those chips and crumble them up, and then I want you to
Mhm.
bread a chicken sandwich, double bread it. I want you to put it through the flour and then the buttermilk, and then go back to the buttermilk, and then I want you to put it in these crumbled up nacho chips,
Mhm.
and then we're going to put queso and jalapenos and all kinds of stuff on top of it, and make it a
Mhm.
nacho chicken sandwich." Well, the guys in the kitchen, they actually took it further. They tried it and they said it was too salty because, there's a salt content in it. This chicken seasoned and our nacho chips get seasoned too. So it was a little salty. So they took it upon themselves to take the raw nacho chips that we fry, the corn tortilla chips that are raw,
Mhm.
and they put them in the Roboku and they minced them down into little bite sized pieces. And they used
Okay.
that as our final breading, and
Oh, okay.
holy criminelli, it was good. So
So
we're
nacho
we're gonna
chicken.
roll. That's nacho chicken. That's my chicken. That's nacho chicken.
Chio chicken. That's a good name.
Right. And we've
Mhm.
already got the Monterey Jack cheese sauce on the Mac station.
Yeah.
We're going to mix a little homemade pico de gallo with that to really come up with what our queso is in real life.
Mhm.
And so we're going to put the pico de gallo and the nacho cheese sauce, dump it over the chicken, put fresh jalapenos on top, and there's your nacho chicken sandwich.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Also playing
I'm gonna have
around
to
with
make a
an
trip
all
over there.
American. Also, yeah, wait till it comes out. But also working on
Yeah.
another chicken sandwich that is kind of the all American. So I'd like to do a chicken sandwich with either American or cheddar cheese,
Mm-hmm.
um, with bacon, and then our apple pie filling on top, and kind of get this sweet and salty and but we're going to take our pie filling and dice it up more. So think of our apple pie filling,
Yeah.
but with the gooiness on top of that chicken sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I didn't win you on
Okay.
that one, Emma.
I don't know. I'm skeptical. I feel like, I mean, if you can get it to like, I feel like it should be more of like a jam, unless like even
Well,
maybe a little thinner.
well, no, that's what I was going to shoot
So it's
for.
yeah.
Was instead of big apple
Oh,
slices, I
so
was going to puree it, not all the way, so there were
mm-hmm.
still chunks of apple in it,
Okay.
and then put
Okay.
that on top. You got that salty, you got the bacon and the cheese, the creaminess of the cheese, and then
Mm-hmm.
you got this gooiness of the apple pie filling.
Yeah. Okay. I'm skeptical, but I tend to be skeptical of a lot of your creations at first.
Yeah.
So I'll just have to
Hmm.
try it.
Interesting. So yeah. So anyway, a couple things we're working on. The social media gals are coming over tomorrow, and we're gonna do a
Mm-hmm.
little photo shoot. Throw a bunch of stuff. Maybe a jalapeno popper mac with chunks of cream cheese in it and bacon and jalapenos. Working on that.
Okay.
Just got to get more on the creative side. We haven't done much with those two concepts about new stuff,
Right.
and it's time to get 4 or 5 items lined up so we can roll them out. Because belong Cinco de Mayo come and our tender tacos will be back, and the handhelds will be off the menu for a while, and Hatch chili season will be coming up, so it's time for the Hatch to make its debut back, and just all
Isn't
kinds
Hatch
of
chili season in like August?
yeah. Well, it's coming up. I'm trying to get ahead of things.
I
I'm
mean, it's
always behind.
February. You got
I
some
know.
time.
It will be August by the time with my schedule. It'll be August by the
I guess
time you
that's
know it.
fair. Yeah,
Got
that's
to
a good
figure out
point.
something St. Patrick's Day. I'm not sure sauerkraut and corned beef goes on a chicken sandwich.
Oh, I
Um,
thought you were talking about for like the Smoky D's. I was like, why would you change what you've got going?
oh yeah, no, we're just
But
gonna do corned beef and cabbage. But also
mm-hmm.
taquitos have my eye as always.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start playing around. I've said this the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm trying to. I want to do the taquitos where we do, kind of. We have smoked chicken, so I do smoked chicken and cheese ones. But then this morning I was inspired by some sort of um, whether it's an avocado salsa mixed in, or maybe that's the dipping sauce. We take our tomatilla salsa and blend it with
Mm-hmm.
avocados and make kind of an avocado dipping sauce. So I envision like a bed of
So
lettuce
guacamole.
with three. Well, not really. Not with the tomatilla salsa. Isn't guacamole?
I'm
There's not
well. I mean,
tomatillas in guacamole.
well, I feel like it'd be a form of guacamole. I feel like that's just like remaking guacamole. It's like a.
There's there's no tomatillas in guacamole,
I guess yeah. It's pico de gallo, isn't it?
right?
Close enough. Close enough.
Yeah, get your Mexican terms right.
Sorry,
There's
my bad.
just so much. There's just so much you can do with Mexican. I feel like I should open a
Mm-hmm.
Mexican restaurant. There's so much you can do with
Surprised you
Mexican
haven't.
and spread it. Yeah. Oh, I got offered. I've actually got an offer on
Well,
the table. People want me to, but I'm not. Sherry says,
you gotta
"Whoa, boy,
get the
slow down.
yeah. Gotta get the other stuff going.
Got to get the other stuff going."
Hmm.
So anyway, speaking of
Yeah.
future, so last week we
Yeah.
started talking about the future of business and how we interact with customers and how we as a business adapt
Mm-hmm.
to the changing customer base. Our conversation started when I was driving back and seeing all these old drive-ins and whatever back from this contest in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then I come across this Jimmy John's that was a double drive-through Jimmy John's where you couldn't order. You had to place, well, you could order in one of the drive-throughs, but mostly was
Mm-hmm.
online ordering or a customer pickup
Yeah.
locker, whatever, where you had to place your order online. And so we
Right.
started to talk about how do we as business owners, because to me, what I'm trying to figure out is how do we deal with this going in the future? When's the right time to start implementing stuff that will people
Yeah.
to buy? And
Right. Because you
so
don't want to be too far behind everybody else.
you don't want to be too far, but you don't necessarily want to be the first guy.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
we've talked on and off about, like at Smoky D's, for example. We have online at Smoky D's. It went live after COVID was shut down, actually, unfortunately, because we were bringing up our Toast POS system at that point. But, we have people that online order, but out of our carryout orders, that only runs about 25 to 30% of people. Most people still walk in the door, talk to somebody, enter stuff, and wait for their order to get ready. Or
Right.
a certain percentage call into, and I'm not sure I can measure that, but here they made a phone call, they took the order. We still have some of that too, and I'm not sure if it's a marketing thing that we haven't pushed the online order, or if it's more of just that's what people want to do. They want to come in, they don't mind waiting for their order because they know we're super fast. We're almost freaky fast, but somebody already used that slogan. As far as carry out, but I just want to walk up to them and say, hey, if you just use your phone, then you wouldn't have to talk to anybody and your order would be ready, and you get a text where it would, was ready, and you could come in and grab your stuff and be off.
Right. Right. So,
and then we have the ornery chicken and the crafty mac here that are all online ordering. You can't get it any other way, even though we still have people every day walking through the door going, how's this work? Well, first, the way it works is you read the sign that's 2 foot in front of the door that says, we're a virtual kitchen. We don't accept walk-in orders. Here's how you order. Right?
Yeah.
But people still want that interaction. But the problem with that is when you're, unlike barbecue where you're just slicing and dicing and getting it on the bun, scooping your side dishes hot, at the chicken restaurant, we're actually breading every one of those sandwiches to order. So
exactly.
It's going to take, if there's no other orders in the system and you throw a 4 sandwich order at us, it's probably going to be out in about 6 minutes. Right. And then we can, it's not like it piles up, but normally 99% of the time we're staying under our 20-minute order alignment. But if you're sitting at a carryout counter, there's no way you're waiting 20 minutes.
Right.
And so I've been very reluctant to put a front end ordering counter on this, even though I think it would increase our sales. It would then change our processes in the kitchen. Because we have to start holding chicken instead of frying it to order. And don't get me wrong, we've got CVAP equipment back there that we could hold it, that we do if we have big caterings going out the door. We can cook 300 chicken tenders and throw them in this holding cabinet, and they will hold for 2 or 3, 4 hours perfectly, but it's still not made to order. So it changes the business model. You got to staff another person out there. Is it the right thing to do? Maybe, So, you've got this future. How do you deal with it? You've got drive-through, you got carry out, you got curbside pickup, you got delivery services. How do we adapt our businesses? How do we change? But not change too fast. You don't want to necessarily be the trendsetter, but you'd like to be the trendsetter of how do you figure out what people want,
Yeah. And with, so many different demographics, like my generation wants to do things differently than your generation. And we know that, which is different than even the older generation, obviously. So it's like, also, how do you kind of find something that's in the middle that works for everybody, I'd say. Right?
Yeah. So what is the answer? I'm not sure there's an answer.
Right.
But like for instance, Smoky D's, we serve a lot of old people. Our clientele is dying. Our clientele is dying. Because You can tell because we still serve 80 to 100 daily specials a day that are 100% focused on comfort food. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing fancy about them. They're just good homemade meat and potatoes on the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And the old people love it because a lot of, I'm surprised. A lot of them, I figured they'd split the meals, but they don't. They come in and
Yeah.
eat it and then probably take half of it home.
Right.
Um, and then there's the working guy that he just wants a big lunch. He's working
Yeah.
up an appetite. So
Right.
how do you not alienate those people? I mean, I think you just have to have all these different segments. But
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about drive-through,
Yeah.
we talked about experiment with McDonald's about the curbside pickup versus going through the drive-through.
Mm-hmm.
Is the drive-through the answer? My answer is probably yes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed Chick-fil-A just announced they're doing a 4 drive-through location prototype, but the kitchen is actually on a second story above the drive-through.
That
So
seems super dangerous
you drive
for some reason.
you drive through the middle of the building.
What the flip?
You drive through the middle of the building, and I'm not sure how the food's getting down there, if the foods are getting down there via elevators. I haven't seen the schematics of this thing. I've pretty much
No.
read the headlines, and I've got Sherry reading headlines. She goes, "Did you check out this Chick-fil-A? Their prototype for drive-in." So
Okay.
if these major brands, like I talked about last week, if these major brands are trying to figure out how to do double drive-throughs and now quadruple drive-throughs, there must be something to that. Is the day of coming in and eating a meal in the restaurant dead
Oh,
or soon to be dead?
this article. This article says something about them also doing a pickup only prototype. They'd be like you. Oh, okay. Okay.
They probably
Interesting.
copied it off me.
Probably. So I could probably add this picture too. But oh, maybe not. So okay, I see how it is. So it's essentially like two pillars, right? And then the
Yeah.
building's like on top of it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
How's the
Interesting.
food get down below?
This doesn't show the inside. I mean, I'm sure this video might give me a little more.
You think?
Um,
I haven't done. I
yeah,
haven't
but
done
I'm not
any
gonna
research
watch.
there, but
I'm just looking at the
so
image.
so
Yeah,
Emma,
that's interesting.
I'll ask you a question.
Okay,
So do you have
I'll
do
give
you
you an
have
answer.
any interest on a normal basis at your age?
Mhm.
Do you
Mhm.
have any interest in going out to eat?
At like in going out to eat, yeah,
In going out to eat
yeah.
on a regular
I mean,
basis.
not like every day. That's unhealthy, but I'd probably say like once a week. I want to go out to eat.
Why do you say? Why do you say? There's plenty of healthy places to eat.
Well, yeah, but like healthy is also expensive, so maybe I should have said also not like it's not budget friendly
Okay.
to go
Okay.
out
That
very
makes
often.
sense.
So I would say about once a week I'd probably want to go somewhere and sit down, but not like by myself. I'd have to like I go with my mom or my friends, but yeah. But I wouldn't say like but if also you couldn't go sit down someplace, that's not going to stop me at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Does that make sense?
It
So,
does. It's trying to balance this getting together because from a restaurant standpoint,
mhm.
it's a lot more expensive to have a front of the house service because then you got to
Yes.
have you got to have
Yeah, cuz you have to staff it.
it's cheaper to serve from a hey I can put it on a plate and I can wash that plate versus
Yeah,
putting in a ultra
in a bag.
expensive, and I say ultra expensive I mean, a to-go container today is 12 to 15 cents, right? And that's just the
Mm-hmm.
container. You take a side dish container. I mean, you're probably
Mm-hmm.
tying up 50 cents in cost on every carryout order.
Right.
That's just one on each
Order.
menu item, let's say, not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
the order, but you may have a buck or two tied up in paper goods for a family of four
Mm-hmm.
going out the door. Down to the plastic forks, and that sometimes they don't need, but you send, or
Have you
napkins,
ever?
they can use their own at home.
Right.
Have I ever what?
Hmm. Have you ever thought about? Well, I feel like a lot of businesses now are doing it, if we're like, they try not to send stuff in plastic bags and things. So like there's a place in downtown that I like to go to, the Poke Company. It's like sushi bowls, It's poke.
That's downtown.
Um. Mm-hmm. Yeah, where
Oh,
Fuzzies used to be, over by the Principal Park on MLK. In
okay.
that
I drove
in
by it
that
this
building on
morning.
the corner.
I drove by it
Mm-hmm.
this morning. Didn't even know it was there.
It's on the top floor. It's above Blaze Pizza. But
What is it?
yeah, so they try not to send stuff in paper bags, and you have to request silverware from them nowadays. So is that like something that you would consider maybe doing at the restaurant, where you'd give, on like takeout orders or whatever, you give them the option like, hey, you can either take this or you can take silverware, and or like, would you? I guess my question is, would you ever charge somebody for silverware or
No,
anything like that?
no.
Is it? But
I'm
does
too
so does it?
I'm too old school for
Well,
that. I mean, to me, if I'm going to give you something to eat,
right,
you need to be able to eat it. Now,
right,
what
which makes
could
sense.
we could and today I think could we? I mean, should we be asking? Hey, I don't send it, because you can either say in carry out, hey, I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to send it out, and
Mm-hmm.
ask them. But if they forget to ask them and you don't send it out, then they're at their car and then they're pissed off at your experience, and you get the 1-star review because you sent out food but you didn't give me anything to eat it with.
Right,
Because a lot of people are going
that
to eat
makes
it at
sense.
home, but some people are going to eat it in their car or a hotel room.
Where to
So
work?
I think on the
Yeah,
safe side,
I mean that makes sense.
you don't over send it out, but then you got the whole environment thing. That, do I want to send all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff out? Speaking of that, there was a funny TikTok or a reel or something I was watching last night, and
Mm-hmm.
it's this gal. She goes, I don't understand. I go to the grocery store, right? And I buy a gallon of orange juice, and it's in a plastic container, and I go over here and you give me a meal and it's in a plastic container, and I get this and it's in a plastic bag, and then I get to carry out, and you don't give
Mm-hmm.
me a plastic bag because it's bad for the environment,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, no, I get that. Well, and like, so uh, I think I've said this before. I don't like to go grocery shopping. I can't stay focused long enough in a grocery store. I'll get too sidetracked. I'll come out of there with way more stuff than I need. So I tend to, you know, pre-order my
That's the whole fun.
groceries.
That's the whole fun of grocery store shopping.
No, no, not when you're only feeding one person. Like, a lot of
That's why
food
they.
can go to
That's
waste.
why. That's why they put milk and stuff in the eggs clear in the back of the store, so you got to walk all the
Yeah,
way through. You may see something you need.
bastards. Yeah, no. So I do a lot of drive-through, or I do a lot of pickup orders, and they always ask, would you like your groceries in a bag? And I I do, just because I almost, because they, they have, their system is, they have like, your order is on a cart in little compartments, and they pre-bag everything. So like they'll bag it as they go, which almost seems like more sanitary to me than putting them in these buckets. So I'm always like, yeah, put them in a bag. Except Walmart specifically, they put every single item in its own bag. So
What?
that, yeah, yeah, I can get, there's like, I just ordered groceries last week. I think I had 8 different items, one item. Like and some of them were like my produce. So they were in a plastic bag, obviously, within a plastic bag by itself. So I came out of what should have probably been maybe like 6 bags of groceries, was like 12 to 15 bags.
You are killing the
Which,
environment. Your mom
right?
would not be happy with you.
But like, it's one of those things of where I'm like, I don't want bags. Is it going to be like, I need to have like, I've seen like the TikTok hacks where people just put their groceries in a laundry basket do I just need to have one of those in my back seat ready to go? Like, put all my stuff in there, which would probably be more safe. But like, is it sanitary? I don't know. It feels like kind of weird. It's like a weird thing for me, but
Yeah, but if
I
it's
find it
your
more interesting.
but if it's
Yeah.
yours, I mean,
Wait, it's like the
that's
pre bucket. It's like the bucket that they're gonna put all the stuff in the first time, you know? Which I know a lot of people probably touch that stuff already, but it's like a weird. I don't know. I don't know. It's just like odd to me to think of my food just rolling around in these buckets that other people's stuff's been in. That's a whole thing. Do I make sense ever? No, we know this. Emma's
wow.
brain wired weird.
I am surprised you order online the way this. I cannot believe you want.
I
Oh,
don't. I just don't. It's
but think about it.
convenient.
I
I go
put
pick
it
up
in
my
the same
groceries at
damn
7
shopping
a.m.
cart.
I know, which I don't like. It's all weird to me. It's all weird. Do I know? I just don't feel like it's any of it's sanitary, but it's fine. But like, it just seems like, and your produce is like banging around in there more because it's like so small, and they're maybe not as cautious. And what if my produce gets damaged? And then I'm like, well, I just got bad produce, which that happened too. Half of the stuff they gave me was expired. I don't even
Right.
know how this person thought any of my stuff was good. It's the first time I've ever had that experience.
So time out. So your produce was bad.
Okay. Yeah, it was
What did
not
you
a
do?
great Walmart experience.
What
I
did you
asked
do?
for a refund. I threw it away and I got a refund for it.
Really?
Yeah, you just have to say like, "Hey, I just got food that's expired." And Walmart's really good about being like, "Hey, we're so sorry. Here's a refund."
Well, my
Straight up.
order every week. I wonder. That's why the price of groceries is too high, because everybody's saying, "Hey, this is expired," and
Well, I
even
mean,
though
if you're good about it, you can post pictures, like you send them pictures and stuff. Like you have to prove it.
oh, you do have to prove it.
Sometimes, I guess Walmart. I guess Walmart. I didn't have to prove it, but some stuff you have to prove that it's expired, like
Yeah.
picture proof, because people do that. You're right. People do that all the time. But I got a bag of 6 avocados. Not a single one of those was firm. All mushy. I cut every one open because I was like, maybe one of these has got to be good. No,
Well, wait, but they were
all
mushy
brown,
like bad, or
like
they were all
brown.
gonna
Yeah,
age.
like no, like bad, like all brown on the inside. Bad, bad, bad. I could
So
almost stick
so
my
then
finger straight through the skin.
so then what do you do? Then you have to go the
I
week
throw
without
them away.
avocados.
Yeah, which that's not a huge deal. It was like an extra little. I don't eat avocados often. I just when I get them, it's like a little bonus. I make homemade poke bowls, and I like them on there. So,
You
or
make
sometimes I have
homemade poke
avocado
bowls,
toast.
and we're going
Mhm.
far away, but I'm intrigued.
Mhm.
We're going like that off on that tangent here, and then we'll try and come
Mhm.
back. But you make
As we
homemade
do.
poke bowls. What are you using for fish?
Salmon or
From
shrimp. The
from.
grocery store.
So are you cooking the
I don't
salmon?
know. No. Sometimes I make it. I mean, I get it raw, so I sometimes just eat it raw. I'll clean it and eat it raw. I don't know. My shrimp's always raw, or my shrimp's cooked. I don't eat raw shrimp.
Yeah. Huh.
So
Interesting.
yeah. And then I do imitation crab, which obviously isn't real, but I like imitation crab, so I
Yeah,
put that on
me
there
too.
sometimes too. Which yeah. And then white rice, soy sauce, pineapple. I'm a sucker for pineapple. I make a homemade spicy mayo, which isn't like great, but it does the job. It does the trick, and go from there.
Homemade spicy mayo. Yeah, that's another thing
Mm-hmm.
we talked about the dress like the Big Mac. I did some more research,
Mm-hmm.
and we're way off the tangent back to where we started. But so
There
I
we
was
go.
going back to this dipping sauces, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Big Mac sauce, whatever, and it kind of came back to this. What I found is the Utah fry sauce. And
Mm-hmm.
so the if you Google Utah fry sauce, there's a bunch of recipes. Most of them are 5-star, and
Yeah.
it's truly anything you want to do as long as it's 3 parts mayonnaise to 1 part ketchup, and then do whatever the hell you want. You want hot sauce in it, you want some twang to it, put pickles in it, you want some color, put paprika in it, you want it spicy, put
Mm-hmm.
cayenne in it. Do whatever you want, but the basis is that sauce is 3 parts mayonnaise to 1 part ketchup. And I love a burger sauce. I love
Mm-hmm.
Freddy's fry sauce. If I'm gonna buy something to take with me and not make it on my own, Freddy's fry sauce is like my ultimate, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that was a Utah thing too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm constantly into, like, I'm playing around with taquitos and
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out how do we process taquitos. And we were talking about sauces early this morning at the restaurant about how do we take our tomatilla salsa and then mix it with the, avocado, and that's how I'm going to dip my. Everybody seems to want to dip, and maybe it's the ranch dressing craze that kids of today are raised on, that everything.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter
Needs a
is like, hey, do
sauce.
you want this? Nope, has to have ranch dressing. She doesn't have ketchup in her house. And
Okay,
so
that's. I
poor
mean, I
Griffin,
guess I don't have ketchup
but
in my
everything is
house,
ranch
but
dressing. So when Griffin comes to our house, we're like, hey, Griffin, you want some ketchup? And he looks at me like, no. I'm like, you sure? And when he tries ketchup, he really likes ketchup, right?
mm-hmm.
But he doesn't get it. He doesn't get to eat that at all
Ketchup is a lot of sugar,
because he's.
so there's that. But
Yeah, yeah.
tomato.
So anyway, but,
No.
but that went really nowhere. But from fry sauce and whatever. But
Yeah.
back to this sauce, okay?
Mm-hmm.
On how we deal, or not sauce, but how do we interact with customers? So you're telling me you ordered
Okay.
online. Now you're not very happy, but you're still going to order online again, right?
Oh yeah.
Because you don't want to go into
Yeah.
the store. You think it's cheaper.
I mean,
We
I don't think it's cheaper. I think, well, if you think about it from, I mean,
It's cheaper because it's
maybe,
cheaper. It's
maybe
cheaper
because of
because you
my,
didn't have
like,
to
yeah,
instincts.
it didn't take, it didn't take my time. So if you think of it from, like, I'm trying to think of how, in my head right now, it's making sense, but I'm trying to think of how I'm going to word it. It's like, let's say I'm paying myself, right? It's like I have to go do it. It's like a labor fee for me because I had to go through. That might just make it sound like I'm lazy, but it's like a labor and convenience fee because I order my groceries, Tuesday night or Tuesday afternoon after work. I'll just sit on the couch real quick, push out my groceries. Normally, I just reorder whatever I ordered.
Wait till you cover yourself on
Yeah,
that work end. Yeah,
yeah,
good job, good job.
yeah. Well, it is most of the time. It's just the end of the day, and then, um, I schedule it to pick up the next morning.
Bullshit.
Oh, okay, but I'll schedule it the next morning to pick up from like 7 to 8, so that because I get up pretty early, and that's just the earliest time you can pick up. So around 7:30, I'm there to pick up my groceries, come home, put them in the fridge, do whatever, and then I can start my day, like my work day.
So
So I'm
did that
saving
cost you
myself.
anything? Did that cost you anything extra than if you would have
in
walked into the store and got it?
in my head, no.
No, no, no,
But
no.
if
I'm
I would have
talking
walked in
about
the store,
no, no, no,
oh,
no, no, no. You missed my point.
price
But
wise, no,
price wise,
it doesn't.
no different. Okay, so
Mm-mm.
so here's my point. You got a big convenience.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't pay
Mm-hmm.
anything extra, right?
Mm-mm. No.
But the but Walmart had to pay extra because they have to have people running around their
Well,
aisles picking stuff and people running it to your car, when in essence raises the price of everyone's groceries. So I just paid for your convenience,
okay, maybe
right?
I could see
First, I
that. Yeah,
first I canceled your student loan debt. Oh, we better not go there.
that.
For,
Yeah, that hasn't happened. Pump the
okay,
brakes.
okay, but it has for a lot. But just you cancel the student loan debt, and I'm like, since when does convenience come with the price? So,
Um. Well,
I mean, people
since COVID.
ordering online at my restaurant, and let me spin that around.
Yeah, I was gonna
So,
say, wait, your prices aren't different.
no, I understand, but I
Yeah.
don't go to any more work because I still have actually I can become more efficient if you order online because I'm not tying up a person carry out online. Normally during busy times we got two people that are either on registers or on the phone taking carry out orders. So
Mm-hmm.
if everybody placed on, now I just need expediters and somebody. So I easily cut one person out of carry out at all times. Easily.
So could
If
you
everybody
spin
were
that?
aligned. So it made it cheaper for me. Now what we've talked about is should we reduce our price for carry out orders and say order online, save 5%? Okay. Does that save me? Does that save me? And maybe it's not 5%, but what's the incentive? Or do we have some sort of incentive that's only for carry out customers? Right. So maybe and there's all kinds of stuff we can do with the system. We've never done it because I'm not a coupon guy. I'm not a discount guy. I've always said I'm going to charge a fair price. I'm not going to charge, my prices are lower than anybody else in the market, but I still make a lot of money doing it because of we have volume. We've talked about that many times. But could I offer some sort of incentive? What's the kind of incentive to say, instead of you walking in talking, just place the order online and then we'll tell you when it's ready and come get it. I have zero additional cost. I'm actually cheaper if we could get everybody to do that. And the order's accurate and the order's
Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel like, but maybe Walmart's already thinking like that. Because think about how many Walmart employees they used to have to staff their checkout lanes that they no longer use. They just have there. You know what I'm saying? Because now they really push self-checkout. So they had all of these employees already.
But then in self-checkout, there's usually 2 or 3 people around trying to help people that can't do it.
Right. But they still have, 15 lanes that used to staff a person that no longer do. But they probably didn't want to cut those employees. So they just moved them to do online ordering pickups.
So by me going into the store and doing my own checking out, I paid for your service of picking up at the curb.
No. I think you're not thinking. I'm thinking about this the way that you just said it for the restaurant. They're just moving staff to convenience. I don't think it changes anything. I think they didn't get rid of any staff. They just moved them.
Staff. I'm not going to move staff. I'm going to have less staff.
Okay, but you said you might cut one person, so you moved one person. I'm just saying that I think it's not as you didn't pay more for my convenience as much as you think you did.
Let's do that math here. Just one person. So one person, let's just take a low figure of $20 an hour. And I'm not saying the person makes $20 an hour, but by the time you insure them and even that's $20 an hour. So I'm open how many hours a week? 70, 75 hours a week times $20 an hour, one person. That's $1,500 a week. That's times 52. That's $78,000 a year that I save if everybody would just order online.
So
it's not just one person.
Maybe Walmart should do the same thing. Maybe everybody should just order online.
Well, here's no, I totally agree. And then all the stuff would come out of the warehouse, so you didn't have 10 different stores. You didn't have 10 different stores. You just had distribution centers that your stuff was picked and you picked it up in a parking lot. Yeah. I mean, we're seeing that with, I've seen a couple different places doing that from a growing business standpoint. Think about the remote. So I've seen the egg roll lady. Okay. Went there last night. Sherry we were trying to figure out where we were going to go out to eat, where to go out to eat. She delayed enough. She goes, let's just go. Why don't you go get egg rolls? Okay. I'll go get egg rolls. She could have told me that an hour ago, but that's fine. So I go get egg rolls. And, it took about 20 minutes when I got in because I tried to order online, but their only order online looked like it was storefront by DoorDash. And I'm like, well, that's more expensive. Why am I going to do that? And they had a couple other things, but I had to log in and do all this other bullshit. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just going to go and order. So I went in and ordered, and it took 20 minutes, but it's okay. I was fine. They had Diet Mountain Dew, so I got to enjoy a Diet Mountain Dew. I hadn't had one in a couple of days, so that was kind of my treat. But I've noticed that they've started selling to these remote towns. So they're taking
Mm-hmm.
orders as long as they get 5 orders and over 200 in sales or whatever. They're going out to Bondurant and doing drop offs at people's houses.
Right.
Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
noticed What You Smoking out in Luther. Very popular very popular barbecue restaurant out in the middle of nowhere, pretty expensive. But I
Mm-hmm.
noticed they're doing drop offs in Des Moines, trying to get to that market without having to invest in this market. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had it yet. I'm anxious to try it, but I don't just necessarily want to put up with all the BS of walking in going, hey, there's a guy from Smoky D's hitting it. What you're smoking? I just want to try their barbecue, right? I mean, I like
So
barbecue,
you're gonna
right?
just have it delivered?
Well, they're not delivering it; they're actually doing it. So what I'll probably do is, under a fictitious name of my daughter or something, I'll probably have her go order it and pick it up, and you know,
Fair enough.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Because I would like to support them. I like to support everything, like
Yeah.
the egg roll lady. I love
Right.
to support the local business, and I'm glad that we went there versus ordering something else.
Yeah.
But back to this whole Walmart thing. Just one question here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
if it cost you $5 to pick up your order at Walmart, if they said when you order online it costs you $5, would you pay the $5?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think because I would have if you would have asked me that question maybe like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But after, getting more involved in like the DoorDash side of things from when I worked at the restaurant, probably not. Just because I feel like there's probably more underlining costs that I don't know about, or there's
Well,
probably more fees
right,
and things.
but think of that. If you had to jump in your car and
Mm-hmm.
drive there,
You
you'd
know what?
probably
Some of my orders are big enough that $5 really doesn't feel like that much. Now that you say that.
that's what I'm saying.
Now my Target
But
orders, no, I would just walk in and go get them because I never ordered like enough from Target for it to really matter. For it to $5 would feel like a lot. But Walmart,
huh, interesting.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the question is, do I discount the drive? Because I don't
I
have
don't go.
additional costs. I got less cost.
I don't leave
And
my
so
car ever.
right. It's getting back into this. You got drive through, you got carry out, you got curbside pickup, you got the DoorDash delivery stuff. Looking at the
Mm-hmm.
future, because I need to be one step ahead of that, right? And so I'm
Right.
trying to figure out, how do I adapt the business now? Like for the ornery
Mm-hmm.
chicken, if I could find a double drive-through location with the ornery chicken, put me in, coach. I could
Right.
find a drive-through location with Smoky D's, but I'd have to take all fried items off the menu, or
Right.
the majority of fried items off the menu. There'd be no chicken
Well,
fried steak fingers because they take 4 and 5 minutes.
wow.
Well,
Oh,
unless
okay.
unless unless you were placing that order online, then that changes that game, because if you place your order before you leave
So
home,
would you do
then I can have
what
that.
Jimmy John's did? That Florida Jimmy John's? Would you make it so if let's say if Smoky D's did a drive-through only, or maybe you add the curbside pickup, would it be the same system where like if you go to this location, you have to order online? There's
Yeah,
no like window, there's
I
no
think
drive
that
up, like we will not have a menu.
I think that would be accepted. I don't think I could.
Or
I don't think I could pull that off right now with Smoky D's. And the
right.
only reason I couldn't pull it off with Smoky D's is I think my average age of my guest is much older.
Right.
Whereas, like the ornery chicken, I think it would exponentially increase the business we're doing. And as a matter of fact, I'm already talking to somebody about that, about building a drive-through location for that. Now, will that ever happen?
Oh yeah, I
Don't
think
know.
because
We'll see.
I mean, based off just the location difference between the Smoky D's and the Honorary Chicken is only like what 10 minutes, but the demographics in like just those two spots alone, like the number of people or the kinds of people that'll drive to Smoky D's versus the kinds of people that go to like the Honorary Chicken, even though they're only 10 minutes apart, is insanely different. And do you think that's the food or just like the location or just the convenience of it?
Well, I think part of it has to do with the food, because
Right.
if I see, my mom's probably not going and ordering chicken tenders,
Right.
but she
most
she is going to go order a 2-piece chicken meal with bone in it,
Yeah.
where the younger generation doesn't even know what it's like to eat chicken
Right.
with a bone in it, right?
Because do you think it's because so many kids nowadays are growing up I mean, uh, I feel like I can maybe say this because we have a picky eater in our family, but like my sister only eats chicken tenders well, she's gotten better over the last couple of years, but there for a while. If we went to a restaurant, she'd only order chicken fingers. And do you think
Well,
that is
I think, yeah, because I think it started with the chicken nugget. I think when the chicken nugget came out, I,
Mm-hmm.
so have you ever had a chicken nugget without sauce on it?
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Yeah.
It's absolutely the worst piece of anything
I
I've
wouldn't say
ever
the
had in my
worst.
mouth.
It's
It's
just
horrible.
I would say, okay, that's
It's
dramatic. I would just
horrible.
say it's not as elevated as it could be. Like it's not bad. Sometimes I just don't want sauce. It's not like terrible. Or I
it
have a
is
really bad habit of
bad.
putting too much sauce on other nuggets. So like McDonald's for instance, you only get one little packet and you order a 10 piece. I can get through 8 with that one little thing. I do like my sauce when I'm having those. And then I just have to eat 2 naked. It's like,
Well,
okay.
so I was at Publix. Publix is known for their chicken tenders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Down in
Yeah.
Florida, grocery store chain Publix, known for their chicken tender sub. So it's pretty much a sub like Subway. They bake their own bread right there.
Mm-hmm.
You can get whatever you want. You get like on a 6-inch sub, they put like 3 chicken tenders on it, 2 full chicken
Mm-hmm.
tenders at least, and they chop them up, and then you
Right.
can get whatever toppings, whatever sauces. It's like the thing to do if you're in Florida. The problem is they put their slowest employees ever that you could ever imagine on that line. So that line is always 10 miles long. If you want a chicken tender sub during any meal period, be prepared to wait a half hour. And I'm like, I'm gonna go to Publix and say, hey, I want to open up a little chicken tender place right out front in the parking lot. That's a drive-through that just boom, 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 whatever you want, because it's a horrible experience waiting on chicken tender sub. So last time we went to get a chicken tender sub, I'm like, I'm not doing this. And I look over and they got popcorn chicken. I'm like, let's just try the popcorn chicken. I
Mm-hmm.
tried it and I thought I was eating like a McNugget. A little bit. It was better because they hand
Mm-hmm.
breaded it. It wasn't formed. It wasn't whatever. But then I got home and I took my favorite hot sauce and I put in there and I shook it up and it become
Mm-hmm.
exponentially better. Right? The shake,
Yeah.
kind of like the old Chick-fil-A, put the different
Right.
sauces,
I'm not
almost
saying that the
inspired.
sauce doesn't make it better. I'm just saying it's not like the worst thing ever.
It is one of the worst things ever. Once in a while,
Oh, you're
Griffin will
so
have a
dramatic.
leftover one, and I'll eat it, and I'm like, holy shit,
Oh
this is
yeah, when it's left
horrible.
over. Actually, you know what? I
Not
kind of like
leftover.
cold naked chicken nuggets. Like you give me like an old. That's really not that bad.
So what is the answer? What is the answer? Is the answer drive-through? Are we going to live in a drive-through world where
I don't know.
people have?
I feel like
Are we going
maybe
to have? Are we?
if it was my
Are we
world,
going to have?
probably.
Are we going to live in a world where we have a big cafeteria type style dining experience that the food court of the mall becomes that if you want to go out to eat, you can eat from 5, maybe more elevated. So don't just think of the Chinese place or the Sabaro's pizza or whatever, but think about a food court, maybe with a band, some entertainment, whatever, that had 4 or 5 restaurants, local restaurants that had like they're prepping their food there, that they had 5 of their kick-ass dishes, right? Go to Smoky D's and we're going to have burn ends and ribs there, and our top selling items, chicken tenders,
Yeah.
and you have the ability to order at your table. And so if you got 5 people ordering at the table,
So
that they could order their own stuff from wherever and have it delivered to their table. Is that where we're going?
kind of like
everybody isn't
isn't
inefficient.
doesn't the hall over in um oh Valley West kind
Yeah,
of do that?
Valley Junction.
So
No,
like that
well,
or Valley Junction?
they
Yeah.
tried doing that. So the hall tried putting
Because
food
was
trucks
yeah, that
outside.
was their
Great idea, right?
right. Because that's a
Except
nice
for now
place.
that right. So now, from what I understand, now
Mm-hmm.
they've kind of ran all the food trucks out, and they have their own kind of kitchen there, but the food
Mm-hmm.
is horrible.
I wouldn't
And
say the food's
so,
horrible. I was just there. But
but
I get what you're
you're
saying.
not
It's not the
ordering
same
from 15
concept.
different things.
Yeah.
It's not the same concept.
So, but that concept is what you're thinking, kind of.
I don't know. I'm trying to find
But like that's what you were just
I'm trying
saying.
to find
Is do you,
answers of, yeah, where do you take the business? What's
I
it
don't
look
have the
like
answers.
in 10 years? But we're supposed to have the
But
answers, Emma.
I would.
People are
I mean,
listening to us,
no
looking
one's
for
supposed to
answers.
have the answers. We can
Oh,
give our opinions. We're not saying they're right or wrong. We're just stating our opinions.
so dining rooms, yes or no?
I think if it was like an elevated dining room like the hall where you had patio seating, indoor seating, you could play games, activities, like breweries. If you kind of had them set up like that, but with, multiple food items, I wouldn't hate that idea. I would enjoy that. Where it doesn't feel so much like it. I feel like because when you go to like a restaurant, I sometimes in certain restaurants, I'm not saying any specifics, but you can kind of feel the vibe of like you need to eat and get out. And sometimes people just want to chill and just like hang out. And they just want to
Right,
meet up
right.
someplace and kind of just socialize, which I think the hall is really good for that because they have, they have a bar, they have food, and then they have just like space for you just to hang out. You have TVs, they have games, music. So I think, in my opinion, that is where the future is going because I think when I think about my generation, like, we like to go to breweries. Me and my friends like to go to breweries because we can have a drink and we can just relax, like you just hang out. It's just like a common space, essentially. And then when you go to a restaurant,
Okay.
sometimes you feel rushed. Like when you have a
Yeah.
waiter and stuff, they're like, hey, can you guys get in, get out? Because I need to refill this table so I get more service,
Right.
which
Right.
makes
Right.
sense. But sometimes that just kills the vibe. So in my head,
Huh.
the future would go that
Interesting.
way.
Interesting.
But I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, and I agree. So just speaking of the whole brewery thing, so I was talking to Luke Darnell,
Mm-hmm.
Roll Virginia
Mm-hmm.
Smoke, right? And he
Yeah.
goes to this brewery, I think once a week, right? Goes to the brewery.
Yeah.
Well, he goes in this week and a pizza shop opened two doors down.
Mm-hmm.
And the pizza shop cut a deal with the brewery to put a little scan code on their table. And so
Oh,
they
yeah.
can scan code,
Genius.
they can order the pizza and have it delivered to the table. And
Absolutely genius.
Luke was like, "What the hell? What do I do now?" And I said, "Luke, it's real easy. Go put your own scan code and deliver it to the table." He's like, "Well, I'm
I
not
mean,
sure I'm
ask.
staffed for
Don't just
that."
do it.
And I'm like, "No." So if I'm
That's
sitting there
like
and I've got barbecue
right.
shareables, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I put
Right.
a scan
Which
code because barbecue. Do I want
we've
pizza?
talked
I get
about
pizza
this.
all the time, right?
We've kind of talked about this, like the food trucks' abilities at breweries. It like that would be a great place for the food truck. You just have to have the right menu items, and you know, be there
Right,
at the right time of day and stuff. But
but time isn't. So think about
I
that.
think,
I'm at a brewery, right? And breweries, there's not a
mm-hmm,
lot of food business at breweries. People are there to drink. I mean, there
there
is.
could be,
People are going to order stuff, but I mean, there could be at certain
mm-hmm,
times. But these
yeah,
breweries are so quaint that
yeah.
yeah, there's 100 people in there, and you're going to
I
get
think.
20 of them to order, and so 20 people you're going to
When
do.
was the
You
last
know,
time you went to a brewery? Most
never.
of them now serve food. Like they
Right.
have their own menus. Like they have. So
Do you
I'm saying,
think
but
they
I'm
serve?
saying like
Do
I
you
don't
think they
think.
serve a lot of food?
I mean, I feel like I have meals there quite often. I feel like they do. Yeah. Like there's the brewery that's just across the bridge from Mullet's now.
Yeah. Single speed.
Single something. Yeah, single
Single
speed.
speed.
Their food's
Yep.
delicious. Their
It
food is
is.
delicious. And their beer's not that heavy, so I feel like it's a good
Huh.
balance.
We're going to single speed this
I
week.
don't know.
I'm taking
Okay.
Sherry. Something we're going to step outside our comfort. So
I think you should.
not my
It's a pretty
comfort zone.
cool little place.
Sherry, do they have Coors Light?
Um it's
Guess
a
not.
brewery, so probably not.
That's
They probably have their own
that
beers.
see that's why I think breweries go wrong. Is I think they should still have a small stash of one light beer commercial. So
Well,
so that you
yeah.
have like a
Well,
Coors Light. What you got? Miller Lite?
or
No, we just carry Coors Light and Pabst Blue Ribbon. Got a heavy beer, small beer, whatever. Or we have all our thousands of other beers.
yeah, or most of them, I feel like, at least I mean, I don't know. I drink more sours than anything, but I feel like everyone has like a light beer that's close enough. Because my dad's like a big Busch Light drinker, but like Big Grove, he has a beer he likes there.
Interesting.
I don't know. Interesting is right.
Yeah, it's
or
just
yeah,
adapting.
or you
It's
got like
adapting because
Paws and Pints. That's the place.
no,
That's
not
adapting
going
with the
there.
times. No, it
I don't
is.
want
You don't
somebody's
have to
fucking
go there.
dog there. I
I'm
don't want
I'm
somebody's
just telling
dog
you.
there when I'm trying to eat.
Well, okay, first of all, there's an indoor section where dogs are not allowed because legally they can't do that. So then they have a patio where dogs are allowed, but they have to be on a leash. And then they have the actual dog park where there's no food allowed, just beverages. So they have it split up into quadrants.
So there's a lot of people take their dogs when we're down in Florida. There's a lot of because almost everything is outside patio, of course, because the weather's beautiful, right? So we go to these outside patios. Every time I go to an outdoor patio, there's a dog sitting on a chair, licking out of a bowl on a table, and I'm like, okay, this is bullshit.
My dog doesn't sit in a chair. My dog sits on the ground. She might be looking out of the bowl, but she'll be laying on the ground.
It's kind of like on a plane. We fly on planes a lot. There is no less than 30 dogs on every plane now. What if I got a dog allergy?
Wait a minute. What dog flights are you? No, I have never seen a dog on my flights.
When's the last time you've been on a plane?
October.
I fly to Florida every 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, I'm flying to Charlotte in May. I'll count and see if there's any dogs.
The plane, and maybe it's a Florida thing, but the plane has bag after bag of dogs. And they're like
on the bottom,
constantly
in the little crates.
No,
or
no.
Okay, you are going to Florida, which is like Retirementville, and like they have like their little yuppie dogs. Not yuppie. I shouldn't say yuppie, but the little lap dogs. Like I'm not gonna put. I wouldn't. Right? I can't. I wouldn't put Twyla in a crate to go at the bottom of a plane, and I would not. She's too big to just sit.
Oh yeah.
And she's not a service dog, so she's not allowed at the top. So like I wouldn't fly with a dog. I also feel like that's not fair to the dog.
This isn't a service dog thing.
No, I'm saying that but like the bigger they are, most of them have to be registered as service dogs to get on a plane. When they're small, they're emotional support animals. So it's.
That's
I mean, Twyla is like my emotional. Yeah.
Broach.
I mean, Twyla is like mine, but she's not registered. Because legally, I know that's a little crazy.
Right. Not really, but anyway. Okay. So I'm not sure we got anywhere. The drive, I think the drive-through, I think the carry-out,
I don't know.
We take it? It's just like DoorDash. Should I open up DoorDash to my food truck every time it goes out? Should I have a food truck DoorDash that if I know I'm going to be at this location, should I set up and that DoorDash location changes to open up my opportunity of stuff to order out?
Can you do that?
That I can have a DoorDash? Why couldn't you do that? If I can open up and say, here's my address.
Well, because your address moves. Isn't there like a rule where you can only change your address so many times on that app?
I don't know.
I feel like we ran into an issue with that with the Crafty Mac because we tried to make it the same location as the Henri Chicken, and they're like, that's not allowed. But it is.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if you guys learned anything important.
Of course they learned anything.
This is a fun conversation.
They learned anything they learned that every time that you go to Walmart that I'm paying for it.
That's not true. I think you're overthinking that. Not everything comes in. Not my convenience doesn't always come at a cost for you.
Okay, well, I'm getting ready to go to Walmart right now because I'm feeding the entire family, and it's so much cheaper to feed the entire family enchiladas and all this stuff and make it all the ingredients. It's so much cheaper, and it's right around the block from here. So I try and I'm an equal opportunity shopper.
Good luck.
Hy-Vee one day.
Oh God, you're going at noon on a weekend? Ugh.
Yeah.
11 on a weekend? Gross. No. See, too many people.
They get out of the way.
No.
That's
Wow.
except for
Not my thing.
in Florida. Florida has a big problem. One last parting people in Florida have no sense of surrounding. The grocery
Aren't they
store
mostly?
is
Isn't it
the
mostly an older
place.
demographic?
Oh no, it doesn't matter. It is some
Okay.
old, some not. But if you
Okay.
walk around a grocery store aisle,
Yeah.
everybody will park their cart in the middle of the aisle and stare at something that they want to pick out forever. And you'll walk up and there'll be 5 people lined behind me and the person will have no idea there. And that happens everywhere. I never see that here in Iowa, but in Florida,
Interesting.
everything just drives the shit out of, just bugs the shit out of me. I'm like, excuse me. Really, what I want to say is, could you get the fuck out of my way? But once you pay attention, God.
I think that might have been the first F-bomb of the episode.
Yeah, I know.
We made it to the end. That's impressive. I might be wrong. I'll check it, but
I think it was wrong.
Anyway.
Oh, you're gonna look up and see how many times I said fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, next time,
all right.
hopefully, Randy's the one. Randy's the one that's got the potty mouth.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm told.
Nah, he does. He says some pretty absurd stuff.
Maybe next time we'll have him.
Anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see. All right. Well, that was episode 45 of Cue the Mic. Be sure to follow us on social media at Cue the Mic Pod. We're on Instagram, Threads, X, TikTok, and we're also on YouTube at Cue the Mic Podcast. Go subscribe, watch our videos, leave comments, likes, do all the things. Get notified.
Give us content ideas because right now, next week, we're wide open. We're booking ideas right now.
Yep, we have a episode suggestion form in our links in our bios on all social media platforms. Be sure to check that out. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
And as Randy would say, boom, we're out.
Boom, we're out.